So the upcoming airdrop for Solo holders and XRP holders is quickly approaching, and there's been some big price movements for the Solo token. But there's been some other buzz regarding the Sologenic airdrop that's about to happen. And that is specifically talks about the Nft Marketplace as well as the tokenized securities exchange that Sologenic is building. I have some information on both of those marketplaces and why they're creating significant buzz. Also going to talk about some of the Bitcoin price action, because as of right now, that's obviously one of the biggest talks in all of crypto. Where is this market going? Some say the bull market is done and we're headed into a bear market. Others say, nope, the real bull market is yet to happen. And it might not happen this month. It may actually happen in 2022. And if you've been following this channel, that's what I've been saying for quite some time. But others have been saying, well, yeah, it's going to happen in 2022, but not when you think. And in this video, I'm going to discuss some of the factors that could affect that, including what some say is happening to the altcoin season. And in other news, the United States Congress is talking with the CEOs of crypto companies and fintech companies to ask them, well, they're asking them a bunch of different questions about innovation. What are some of the pros and cons? And it went pretty much how you'd expect, including one CEO having to explain what hodling Bitcoin meant, and another congressman asking, what can Mongoose coin do to crypto coin? I'm not even kidding. And speaking of the United States Congress, Elon Musk sent out several tweets telling Joe Biden that he needs to can his Build Back Better plan. He says there's a lot of shady stuff that's written into the bill, and even though a lot of it would actually benefit Tesla and that industry, he says he needs to throw it away because there's a lot of stuff that is written into that bill that most people are not going to see. And in fact, he says if a lot of the provisions in that bill are actually made permanent, it would increase the United States debt by up to 24%. Hey everyone, my name is Randy and welcome back to the Late Night Grind. Right now on this channel, I'm covering the Ripple versus the SEC case, but I'm also covering cryptocurrency news, investment markets, and personal finance. So if you want to follow along with any or all those topics, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit that bell notification icon so YouTube will send you a notification when I release a new video. And if you're feeling generous, I'd really appreciate it if you do two things. Number one, smash that thumbs up button, and number two, watch this video all the way to the end. Those are really the two best things that you can do to support a YouTube channel. And before we jump into it, I wanted to apologize before we get too far into this video. If the sound is a little bit off or if the lighting is a little bit off, it's because I'm rearranging some things in my office for these videos and I don't have any soundproofing or sound dampening behind the camera. So if you hear echoes, I apologize. I'm going to get that fixed very shortly. All right, now we can jump into it. So let's first talk about what the United States Congress is interviewing, essentially asking the CEOs of cryptocurrencies and fintech companies, asking them, well, what are the benefits, what are the pros, what are the cons of this new cryptocurrency market that we know absolutely nothing about? And I'm going to be doing a little bit more of a deep dive on this on my next video, but some of the stuff I've been seeing on Twitter is absolutely hilarious. You saw the quote in the beginning of this video, and that was actually a quote by one of the congressmen who basically said that cryptocurrencies are really the only threat to cryptocurrencies, and he made up a whole scenario that really doesn't exist in reality. But for those actually following the sincere and serious questions along with the hearing, said it's actually been a very productive day in terms of the crypto ecosystems. And it's also been showing how far behind that US regulators are behind the curve in terms of adopting regulation for this industry compared to a lot of the rest of the world. That and including putting the SEC on blast, which I always love to see. But like I said, I'll be including more information on that in my next video. All right, so let's talk about what the price of Bitcoin is doing right now. As I'm making this video, it is roughly around 51,000. Last night, it touched 52,000 before dropping down to 48,000. Now it's back up to 51,000. So what is Bitcoin actually doing? Well, some people say we're in a bear market, and other ones say the real bull market's just beginning. And if you've been following my channel for quite some time, since about September, I've been looking at a lot of market cycle analysis, and from the really, really smart people that study these charts and these algorithms and what it actually looks like, have been saying, listen, this market cycle, this bull cycle is really going to go into 2022. In fact, pretty far into 2022. I've seen some analysis that said, which I was on board with, that said that actually the blow off top to this bull market probably won't happen until sometime in March. Well, I've seen a few other recent analysis that say it could actually be more like summer, June, July, even August. And I saw one that I'm not sure I'm on board with, but it showed some analysis on market cycles and how this one's taking a lot longer than some of the other ones, including the drops and capitulations compared to others, that said the blow off top for this one may not occur until October, November, even December of 2022. Now there's a lot of charts outside of price action that actually points to this. Not the December timeframe, but actually the March, April, maybe even May or June timeframe for a blow off top if this bull market is going to continue. In fact, one of the leading indicators that I've been introduced to recently was ever since COVID, the price of Bitcoin, or the price action of Bitcoin, has been very closely correlated to that of the United States 10-year Treasury bond yield. Up until COVID, it wasn't really coupled to it. It wasn't matching it at all. But since COVID, it's mirrored its every move. And so doing some due diligence, looked upon what some of the Bloomberg, NASDAQ, some other financial analysts are saying about the 10-year bond in 2022, now that it has my attention. Some of them have been saying it's going to climb probably 0.75%, maybe even as much as 1% up to 2022. Well, if you do some of the price correlations with what Bitcoin's been doing to the 10-year Treasury bond yield, a 1% gain in the Treasury bond yield would essentially equal almost 100, even close to 200,000, depending on how you do that cycle, for the top of Bitcoin. Now, of course, those are all speculative, just like the price of Bitcoin, just like the 10-year Treasury bond yield, but it's very interesting to see that there's yet another indicator that we can follow. Now, this is going to mess up some people's speculation that we're now going into alt season. Why? Well, because the other two bull cycles that Bitcoin has had after Bitcoin hit its market top, they called what is known as alt season that took over, meaning once Bitcoin hit its top, people would actually take profits from their Bitcoin investments and pour it into altcoins, such as Ethereum, Cardano, XRP, and a bunch of others. And those altcoins then took off, at least for a short period of time. Well, here's the difference between the 2017 bull run and what's going on right now. In 2017, the Bitcoin dominance number was at 70% at the top of the Bitcoin bull run, meaning that 70% of the total crypto market cap was in Bitcoin. And then as Bitcoin came down in price and alt season exploded, Bitcoin dominance dropped to 35%, meaning it dropped in half, meaning Bitcoin only accounted for about 35% of the total crypto market cap. Well, right now, Bitcoin is at 40%. It really doesn't have anywhere to go, not much further to go, for there to be any kind of alt season. So if this was some kind of alt season, if Bitcoin did see its top and people did take all their Bitcoin profits, they're not putting it into altcoins. In fact, altcoins aren't going to go anywhere. And not only that, the liquidation that we've been seeing with Bitcoin, not just the one a couple of days ago, but the one several weeks ago as well, when there's liquidation events, it's not just Bitcoin that gets hurt, it's all of the altcoins as well. So if we're going to have any kind of alt season whatsoever, where other altcoins are going to rocket after Bitcoin sees its top, it's not going to happen this year. It's not going to happen in December or January. If it is going to happen, Bitcoin would need to see a major climb and reclaim its dominance by over 50% of the market cap in order to have any kind of alt season whatsoever. So keep that in mind when you're expecting your favorite altcoin to all of a sudden moon. Now, of course, there's going to be the odd ones here and there that will, for speculative reasons, but not because people are taking their Bitcoin profits and putting it into those coins. And that brings me to Sologenic, which if you're a Solo holder or an XRP holder, you're looking forward to the airdrop, which of course the snapshot's taking place on Christmas Eve, December 24th. The actual airdrop is January 20th. What's been making buzz around Sologenic is not just around the price action, which is around $5. After seeing a big run up to $7, it kind of consolidated, especially after Bitcoin had its big liquidation events and price drops, but it's now climbed back up into the $5 range. And of course, there's going to be even more speculation about what that price is actually going to do before and after December 24th. Because right now, making buzz, especially on Twitter and YouTube, if you look up Sologenic and you see news about Sologenic, it's probably about two things, other than the airdrop. It is about the Nft Marketplace and the tokenized securities exchange, which I also wanted to mention in this video. They may not be the only application on the XRP ledger to get started selling tokenized securities. I'll have a little bit more on that in another video. So the Nft Marketplace, there's actually been some buzz that has recently come about that because what they are announcing is that there is going to be no gas fees for minting, selling, trading of NFTs of any kind. Now, for the longest time, Ethereum has really had the monopoly on the NFT marketplaces, but recently, Solana has been taking a little bit of a chunk out of that because it's its own ecosystem, similar to Ethereum, and it has its own gas fees, but it's significantly cheaper than what Ethereum is. And they've managed to take a little bit of a chunk out of what Ethereum's actually doing in the NFT space. Well, Sologenic is going to be doing the same thing because they're not going to be having any gas fees whatsoever. Now, as we all know, on the XRP ledger, everything is extremely cheap for any kind of transfer, so Sologenic being built on the XRP ledger makes sense that they're not having any gas fees built in. Once this is actually ready to go, that is going to be some very bullish news. And I'm sure that they're trying to time this a little bit with the actual airdrop on January 20th, 2022. But I recently saw an interview with Bob Rass, who is one of the co-creators of Sologenic, and he was talking about their marketplace where you can trade, buy, sell, and trade tokenized securities, meaning actual tokenized versions of Amazon stock, Tesla stock. You get the idea. He said their product is ready. It's ready to go. It's actually up on the test net right now, and you can actually go play around with it and use their real-time data, and that's tied in with NASDAQ and other indexes, with real-time data that you can actually practice essentially trading tokenized securities. He said it's ready to go. The only thing they're waiting for are licenses. So what they're actually doing is, he said right now there's a couple of things that they have to decide on that they probably won't decide until the first quarter of 2022. Read into that right around airdrop time. And that is, they're going to be acquiring a company. They haven't let us know anything about that yet. They haven't let us know which company or companies they're going to be acquiring, but they're going to be acquiring companies that already have those licenses to sell those securities. He said once we make that acquisition, we'll drop it onto our platform and let it go. So if you were thinking about getting this airdrop on January 20th and then just selling whatever Solo tokens you have because it's some free cash, you might want to think twice, because a lot of people are comparing this to Solana. And remember, if you've been watching my channel, you know Solana went from $1.50 to nearly $300 in less than a year. There's a very similar tokenomic structure to what Solana and Sologenic actually have, only 400 million tokens. It's very small comparatively in this ecosystem. So could Sologenic go from $5 where it is now to several $100s? Yeah, I think it's a possibility. Will it? Who knows? And this is not financial advice. Don't buy, sell, or do anything based on what I say here on this channel. But take this information for what it's worth. So if you want to stick around and find out all about what the US Congress had to say with the CEOs of these other fintech companies, make sure you check in with my next video. I'll be covering it a little bit more in depth. And hopefully soon we'll be hearing some information from Judge Netburn about what the SEC apparently didn't do, and that is turn over some documents and some explanations that they owe to Judge Netburn. As soon as I hear something, you will definitely hear about it on one of these videos. So make sure you are subscribed to the Late Night Grind. Also, go follow me on Twitter. I'll have a link to my Twitter profile in the description below. Once again, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end, giving it a big thumbs up, and as always, I'll see you guys on the next video.